Yeah, buddy. Alrighty, welcome to the Tokyo Ghoul After Show. Woo! Yeah, slice and dice. That's what happened this episode. Holy shit.
Yeah, this was a hell of an episode.
But before we get into it, who are you for those who don't know?
Zach.
I'm Zach.
That's it. That's pretty much it.
I shaved and I got a haircut. So.
Did you?
I did. You can't see, but like.
Oh, you cleaned it up a little bit.
I cleaned it up.
Still just have. It's just this top.
Yeah, it's just the top. The top's gone. I'm a chia pet.
Let's
Tokyo Ghoul Cue music.
Do you actually put music in there?
No.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so yeah, just getting started. This episode was the realist. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And it might not even actually been that awesome, but it like compared to what we've been watching, it was phenomenal. They didn't rely on one singular focus. It wasn't just fighting. It wasn't just drama. It wasn't just psychology. It was all of it mixed in together. They did it so well. It felt like the episode was longer.
It felt longer, but not like in a bad way. You know, like it wasn't like longer where it's like, oh my god, is it over yet? And no, it was like when you were so into it and you were so into every moment where you're like, oh wait, that was only 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was like when you're having a good time and it goes by fast, but it felt long. You know when you're having fun, time goes fast, like goes by quicker when you're having fun.
Long. No, never mind. Just drop that metaphor. Anyway, okay, so overview of the episode, just kind of the basic of what went down. Hit me.
So we dealt with a nutcracker. Overview. Dealt with a nutcracker.
Yeah, there's like three main plot points.
Yeah, Nutcracker, Madam, and Takizawa / Heisei. And I feel like this episode was very Heisei story or like prelude heavy.
Indeed. This is so the song they played, by the way, so I'm just quick shout out. The music in this, the OST was phenomenal. During the Madam stuff, they played, so it was I think it was the Unravel song from the first season.
They played Unravel.
And which is perfect because it's called Unraveled, and this episode is all about like Heisei kind of breaking down. Like he's finally coming back into and so it works, and it's kind of clever, you know. They played like Unraveled in the first season.
I feel like, the Unravel as a song, this is just from for me at least, has been a thing that has been, it's no longer an OST, it's associated with the show in its entirety. Like, that song is just, because it was in season 1, and then you close out season 2 with the acoustic version of it, which was just heavy. And so the song itself is literally the entire show. And to bring that back into a heavy moment like that, I'm just like...
It was phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really awesome. No, they made this episode like very cohesive. It worked. Like they very rarely in this season 3, have blended their emotion with the action at all. It's one or the other, and it's like very stressful in season 3 because every time we do a review, we either have we're bitching about how it's like either kind of a boring filler episode or we got nothing of character development. But we got both. We got all of it. Everybody,
everything we needed.
All of them. Mutsuki, Yuri,
opening with
Kaneki
and Heisei face to face. That was
dragged with the wall. It's so real, so good.
Jamma.
Yeah. But yeah, hold on. Sorry, we're all super hyped. But yeah, so those are 3 main storylines, and we'll go sort of by each rather than go by the normal format. With the first one, we'll start with Nutcracker. That storyline, I loved what they did because I think this is the point when Shirazu is going to start becoming like more of a character because he's kind of been comic relief since like the beginning, since we met him.
Literally since his entrance.
Yeah, and I think he finally he had that moment that like Kaneki had when he sort of started seeing like, oh shit, like you're not just a ghoul, like you're a thing.
Yeah, you're a living, you're a
being.
You're a being.
Yeah.
And they do this all the time. They humanize and make you like someone. Like even if you're like, oh man, this person's like really like messed up and gross and I don't like her, and then they took her last moments and you're just sitting there, you're going, oh my god, I like this character now.
Yeah.
And like at the end it's like, and they're being taken away from me.
Exactly. And now this isn't really a spoiler because she's already dead. But so in the manga, you see a bit more, and they had to kind of trim it down. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the thing. They had to trim it down a little bit, I don't know, for time. But in her dying breath, she basically says like, I just wanted to be pretty. And in the manga, they go a bit more into it to where like she kind of gave herself up to men. And she was kind of abused, and she dealt with shit.
They even said it, and in last episode, it's like, "Damn you and your sexy body,"
Yeah.
which is like more of an objectifying thing, and not so much as finding someone beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's and then so she's been living up to these expectations of like what she has been pushed on her as what she thinks is beautiful based upon what other people want out of her.
Yeah, and which all goes into like the basic psychology of a person. Like she. As a child, she just wanted, like, was probably told to be a certain way or be a certain thing or shown the fucking Cosmopolitan magazine and it's like, that's what you should be. Everyone should look like Jessica Alba every day.
Well, the shoes in the store. Like
exactly. And so when you have to hold yourself to that standard and you can't, especially with a ghoul in this world.
Because you have to hide all the time. And so you...
Yeah. And so, like, and that's it's so dark and it's so real and it's so relevant that, like, while she was... Probably at this point, now that she was a chimera, like an S-class ghoul, like super badass, killing people, really awesome. Like deep inside her, she was just a young girl that wanted to feel pretty and wanted to feel value in herself. And that's when Shirazu saw that and he like falls backwards and he has to deal with that and he's like, don't say those things, like don't make me like.
It was kind of the same thing that Aman Kotaro dealt with season 2 with Kaneki being like, I don't want to kill you, and he's kind of sitting there like, wait, what? And so it's like, it's kind of like I said, they're humanizing the CCG. The dubs are having these creatures who they believe to be monsters. They're becoming human people in front of their eyes, even if it is at the last moment of their life.
Absolutely. But yeah, that went super well. Psycho finally released her Kagane, which is great. You didn't really see it, but she, I mean, you can assume it's awesome, and I can tell you it's awesome. And so that's coming forward in the future. You'll see that. But moving on from that, so the Juzo Madam. Awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't...
And Yuri, like, so there's two kind of plot threads running.
Yuri, I felt like Yuri was a higher high than the Juzo thing, and I like reading it, I felt like Juzo was more the drive home, but in the anime, Yuri just that hit home real hard.
Well, they dropped off some of the fight of Juzo Madam, like in the anime. They focus much more on Yuri, which kind of shows...
Hey, Lucy.
Hello. Which kind of shows me that they're gonna focus more on the Yuri and Mutsuki arc rather than Juzo's development, which I'm kind of okay with because Juzo's already such an awesome character. Like, we don't necessarily really need to dig in so much more. And he has an amazing storyline coming up for him, which is incredible. And this episode really showed, it was the first time that you realized that, like, when he broke down and you kind of heard him say that he doesn't hate the Queen Squad for no reason. He hates them because he feels like he's in the way, like he's not good enough, like he's not his father. When he said the line where he's like, Heisei just thinks I'm in the way all the time. And he has an inferiority complex, which makes him act like an asshole. Because
he's constantly trying to prove himself to himself and those around him. And we haven't really got a large relationship, view into the relationship between him and his father. Will we get some of that down the line, or is that something?
We will. And actually, the last episode they brought up a little bit of it. But it's very simple. His father was a special investigator, and his father was awesome, and he died saving other people, and Yuri has that to live up to, which is very hard. It's very hard to live up to a hero, and especially like a martyr, like someone who died for their squad, because there's no way to trump that. Like, no matter how good you are, you'll never be the guy that died for all your friends. And so therefore that complex is sitting with him, so much like in the same way with Nutcracker. While Yuri is an asshole, like Nutcracker was a sociopath, inside, deep down, he's just a boy who like wants to earn his father's respect, but his father's gone, so he can't.
So he has to earn it and look for it somewhere else. And he feels like he's not getting it from Heisei because Heisei is genuinely trying to help him and teach him, but it's not coming across like that. It's coming across as like criticism and ridicule as opposed to constructive criticism and trying to help him learn about who he is and how being in the world that he's in.
And I think just as a teacher, like Heisei should never be the teacher for Yuri because like his personality, like he's such a little sweetheart. Like Heisei's Just the little baby sweetheart who's always giggling and chuckling.
Mato would be a much better teacher for
100%. He should Yuri should be on Mato's squad for sure.
Well, I mean, but like not like because it's like Mato, Heisei, and then Quinks. And so Mato's overseeing the leader of that squad, but there's no direct contact between those two, and there should be, and that'd be a better relationship.
But the point being that it was phenomenal. There was even they showed for the first time someone really like frame out, which was awesome. That was so cool.
That was rough.
So I assume you've seen it. So if you haven't, like, without reading the manga, it's a little bit harder to understand kind of what happened. But so the idea is like you have, and I messed this up actually the first week. He was totally right. But basically, there's like 5 boxes across like the gland that creates your Kagane, and it keeps you from being a full ghoul. And so 2 episodes ago, he dropped one out. He dropped his 3rd one. So most of the Queen Squad is on 2.
He has 2 frames left, right?
Yeah, so he dropped the 3rd when he went to the thing. And then when he, like, this episode, he said he dropped his 4th. So, like, he is so close to becoming a ghoul.
There's just one frame
left, yeah. And he lost his shit. He went nuts. And they directed it so well. And even Madam
was just like, dude, you crazy.
Yeah,
like,
which is awesome.
This character who smashes Juzo's nuts with a mallet is going, dude, you got issues. Like...
Yeah, that was actually really kind of funny. I'd forgotten about that. She was like, that guy's fucking crazy. Because he lost his mind. He almost went a little Takizawa.
Yep. Me, instead of Jim.
And because it made him real brainstem, and which makes sense. Like, once again, his character arc works with that because, like with Takizawa, like when he goes nuts. He's like, jam, murder, like heads are pineapples. And it's because that's all he thinks about is like eating. He's a pure evil hedonist. With Yuri, he was like, I need like respect, support, like me. Like I need.
He's like, credit. I need credit.
I need credit. And then they did this crazy scene where like it was all in his head where he was just obsessed with making himself matter, which was really, really well done. I was super impressed.
Yeah. And so that was, and then like I said, Juzo was like kind of uneventful. It was like closing the book on everything that we already knew.
Exactly. And it was a lot more in the manga. It was a lot more dramatic.
It was definitely more dramatic and Juzo had a lot more to say in the manga than he did.
Yeah. And you also learned that Madam is actually a dude.
Yes.
Not a lady.
Not a lady.
Probably kind of the reason he like hammered his balls.
Not in like a fun way.
Yeah, not in a fun way. But yeah, so like there were some things they left out, but once again, I think it's because they're gonna spend a lot more focus on Yuri and Mutsuki.
Mm-hmm.
And then, also, I still don't know why they think Mutsuki's a guy. Like Mutsuki's the most feminine. Like
no, and it's
so silly that she thinks she's tricking anybody.
Like I understand for like story's sake, because like I get it, but at the same time, because even like. Now, I could be completely off base and be completely wrong, and we could be in the minority in this, but from when opening the book, reading it before the season even came out, I thought that was a girl until I found out it wasn't a girl. But I always knew Juzo was a dude. That I knew.
I did not know
Juzo was a dude. That one I did know.
Yeah. I had to reread a couple of chapters to figure out that Juzo was a dude. That was really weird, and I kept misunderstanding why they were switching that up. But yeah, with Mutsuki, but it doesn't matter. Like everyone knows, there's actually, I mean, it's already come up a couple times where she's been like kind of seen or figured out, and I think that's Yuri. He said a line.
She always has her. She's always wrapped.
Yeah, she does a wrap
on her torso. Yeah.
But Yuri's even said a line where he's like, "Oh, so you're a." Oh.
After smelling her.
Yeah, and which is a little weird. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that was about being a girl or if that was about being like I don't really. It was odd.
It's just, it makes sense. If they have a heightened sense of smell, they can smell certain hormones that someone would still have after transitioning.
Either way, that was definitely the focus of that little arc. And then the 3rd arc. The arc. Finally.
Sorry. Had to.
Yours was way better. So there was
a Kaneki or Heisei?
Kaneki. What?
The fight. It was like the last fight. Were we talking? I forgot.
Either way, he's the same guy. Actually, he's not. That's like the one thing I wanted to get into. Is it's really interesting that the show is doing a fabulous job of really clearing, like making it clear that they are 2 people. Because that is the thing in the manga. Like again, like I'm a little bit ahead of him, but there's a strict divide between the two.
And they do a great job of showing that, but with the two chairs on the far side of the room.
When they brought the kid in, that was so good.
Well, because they established that, like, even last season and, like, in the manga, that it's just that, at the end of the day, Kaneki is still that child who was left alone in the world.
Yeah, and kind of, like, abused. Like, he had a horrible life. But even more so than that, like, just the fact that, like, so he's having this argument, like, it's Heisei versus Kaneki, and they're sitting there arguing, like, who controls the body, who's in charge, and which was really incredible how they did it, and they, like, merged it with the fight. It was really well done. And then the thing that got him back was when the child, like, his inner child comes back and looks at him and is just like, hey, like, I know you're Heisei now, but, like, do you remember me?
What about me?
Like, I'm you, like, I'm Ken, like, I'm there, and I'm afraid, and I need you. And that's really incredible, and they did it so well. And then you saw him, like, crack the knuckle and be like, all right, we're gonna do this. And it was so money. Like, they did it very well. And I will say I don't think it was as emotional as it was in the manga.
No, I mean...
The kid was much more, like...
And even Hinami coming in the manga was way more emotional in the manga than it was in the anime.
I loved that, though. I thought the anime did it really well.
Really? Because I just didn't get the whole, like... It didn't land for me.
That's fair. I have such a soft spot for her. I have a little sister.
I mean, I do too.
Is she younger than you?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Well, either way, I'm with a younger sister. Like, with Hinami, I see her, and like, when she came in and she was just like, big brother, I don't care if you're a shell. Like, I'm going to protect you. And it was so beautiful. And then Heisei was kind of an asshole where he's like, nah, I'm not that dude.
Yeah, that pissed me off a little bit. He's just like, you have your supposed enemy fighting their teammate because they care so much about you, and you're just going to be like, fuck you. Like, but I understand, like, he's not the same person, but, like, the weight of that gesture should still mean something. And now, devil's advocate that, I will say, keep in mind, at this point, he is still a Ghoul investigator, and Hinami is a member of a gory tree, and, like, he leaves her because he's still, like, he has a love for her, and he knows it. And that's one thing that the anime doesn't have enough time to really show this. Yeah. But Heisei's torn. Like, he's very torn because he knows that they were his friends. Like, could you imagine having amnesia, and everyone tells you that, like, all these people are the ones you love, but you don't know them. Now you have to, like, arrest them or shoot them or whatever. Like, you have no idea who they are, but you have to, like, be cruel to them. But you don't remember it, but you know it's true. But you have the knowledge that you were. That's a very dark place to be in. Yeah. And I think he did a good job where he tells her, he's like, I'm not that man anymore. I'm Heisei. But we haven't got there yet, but at the end of volume 3 in the manga, we haven't got there yet, so I won't even bring that up. But yeah, no, it is really an amazing thing because we have, and he even said it, like, his big argument, he's not arguing that he wants to be a Ghoul investigator. It came up in, I think, episode, like, 2 when he first, like, freaked out and lost it, where he, like, his problem is not that he wants to be this investigator. He doesn't care about being Heisei. He cares about being happy and having friends. And he knows that if he becomes Kaneki again, he becomes a warrior, and he doesn't have. Or he becomes this person that he doesn't know, and that person that he knows may. And he loves the Queen's Club. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He may lose his friends by becoming this person he used to be. Exactly, and that's got to be a terrible spot. Once again, the tragedy of fucking King Kaneki. It's really rough because he knows it, and that is one of the worst things about it. That's like this is Shakespearean in all regards because. Like, one of the biggest tragedies is knowing a problem that you can't fix. Knowing something is wrong and knowing that you are wrong. And you just can't fix it. And so that's him as Heisei. That's why he's arguing with Kaneki, but he's not really mad about it. Like, he even said that, he was saying that there's a part of him that's missing. He said that to Kaneki, where he's just like, there's a part of me that's missing, and blah, 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 blah. He didn't quite say that he, like, wants to have it filled, but I think what he was saying is, like, he wants it to be filled, but he's very hesitant to let that part of himself back in. Exactly. Well, I mean, could you imagine, like, say you started tomorrow, you only had 3 years of memory, but you were super happy. But could you imagine, like, the weight? Almost nice. Could you imagine the weight, though, of thinking, like,
what happened in
Yeah.
the rest of my life? Like, I need to know. And that is like a huge weight. And so that he's torn apart, and I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
But he pulled through, did well, and then they kind of like stabbed each other in the chest. It was a little weird. Because like Heise got stabbed like 30 times and he was totally fine, and then they both stabbed each other and they like died. It was a little silly.
Yeah.
That's one thing about like, I mean, animes in general is that like people can take 70 bullets in one frame and then they take like one at a critical moment and it kills them. It was a little silly, and that's kind of what happened in this. But that's just anime in general. But I loved the fight. I thought it was so good. They merged Takizawa with Ken often, like the way, like for instance when he like was choking him out when he walked out,
yeah,
and then even in the beginning where
the transitions,
all the transitions worked. It was really incredible. They finally stepped their game up. I've been waiting for this.
It was a good episode. No, I just, like I said, I really love the relationships between people. The relationship that Heise has with Kaneki, I'm enjoying it a lot, because it's like, it's kind of like, it's like being able to actually have a conversation with your subconscious, and not just like, it's not just talking to yourself, you're actually talking to someone else. But the only thing I wish I would have got, like I said, Hinami and Kaneki, but I understand that we don't necessarily have time for me to get all the feelings in that I want to have.
And that's one thing they're gonna have to. I hate that they only have 20 minutes per episode, because they have to cut out some of the relationships and some of the factors, and they're gonna like, they have to dip out some things. And one Hinami's, she is a big part of the story, but like always kind of like the third party kind of thing, and so they're always going to dip her out, because in the like, she's actually a pretty big character in the manga, and you don't even know this yet, but she gets much bigger, and but she is still always going to be tossed to the side, because she's always kind of that just like little kid character. The problems I had though.
Okay.
The only problems. Once again, I'm so sick of these sliding transition frames. The art is killing me, because like,
does it look something like this?
It does, but then it would be like slash slash, and like a light would shoot up. It's tragic that in a world where we have the animation of that we have the potential for such
we have Attack on Titan, we have Dotting in the Franxx, we have Dragon Ball Z,
One Punch Man, Castlevania.
Yeah,
Castlevania's the anime. It's incredible.
Even Shokugeki no Soma has better action shots, and it's a cooking anime.
And because they. Like, for instance, if you watch the episode again, watch when Mutsuki gets kicked and then punched, and then she's up, and rather than doing a fluid animation of someone slashing her, they just have her back there, and then they just light up her back where slashes would be. Same with when Madam punches Yuri, and Yuri has like a very Dragon Ball Z kind of like...
But like not today Dragon Ball, it's like 1995
I was like, step your game up.
Ball.
We have...
I don't know.
That's absurd. That's my only thing.
Yeah. I agree completely. No, it's definitely, it takes away from a lot of the combat. Juzo didn't do anything in that fight.
Yeah, we didn't see
absolutely nothing.
Never even slashed her fucking with Jason.
Yeah,
never
slashed Jason. Brings out the scythe, does nothing. It's fine.
She had like a good, like, once again, the sliding frames. So when Madam is looking at her, you see Juzo's face just like coming into the camera, and all that is a single still frame that they like enlarge.
But one thing we can all agree on, and even Emily did, is that Juzo is the hottest character in all the show.
Yes, girl or boy
aside,
Juzo's the hottest girl in the show.
That's it. Juzo's the hottest girl and the hottest boy.
Juzo's such a badass. But yeah, that's my only really issue with the art, because besides that, this shit was. Anywho, this episode was phenomenal to me. I'm so glad they stepped their game up in the way they utilize both emotion and action, which is one of the reasons the mangas are so amazing. Is like they'll do these crazy action sequences, and then they'll have like a monologue that like changes my life.
Yeah, or they'll have a sentence that changes your life, like, I just want to be beautiful.
Exactly.
That's enough.
Or I've always loved watching wine fall from a glass.
Ooh,
like one of those things. That was
spilling
good.
wine is a beautiful sight.
Exactly. Whatever.
I love it.
But yeah, point being, they finally stepped their game up. We've been waiting for this episode. I'm very happy. I'd give it a 9.5 only because the art.
Yeah, I will give it a solid 9. I would even go 8.5 because especially on an episode like this, I expect the art game to be, if it's a full on battle like episode and you haven't really done that that great of a job. The episodes previous. You should have been saving your budget for this, and that didn't happen. So I'll give it a generous 9.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But it was still phenomenal. And by the way, he does sound like a girl, but that actually makes sense scientifically. If you've got his balls crushed, you're doing testosterone, like your testosterone changes, your larynx doesn't grow. Probably would sound like a girl.
Maybe.
Like eunuchs.
You could also just have a high voice.
It's like Constantinople, Istanbul, like they had eunuchs that ran the temples and they sounded like girls.
I'm now excited for next week. This week I was not so excited because of last week's and how
next week,
underwhelming it
unfortunately,
was.
I think is gonna be a filler because it's the fallout of this.
Well, there's some knots to tie about this. That
But even when they showed like the what's coming next, it was all like they showed Arima, which is awesome. They did show
Yoshimura.
And I mean, what's the girl, the writer? What's her name?
Oh, Nisei.
Huh?
Nisei? Oh, Eto.
Eto?
But Eto is what's her nut?
Wait, does everyone know that?
Yeah, I mean, I've only read to volume 3 and I know that.
Okay, then yeah. So wait, yeah. So this is the first time that you're going to see like Eto as writer, not as
in this season. In this season.
And it's gonna be awesome. Like, so the next episode is probably gonna be a little slower, but it's gonna fill in a lot of gaps. And I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen when Heisei / Ken Kaneki has to deal with the fact that he had this whole conversation in his head, and now he has to be like he was in battle rage, and now he's gonna be like sober, not in battle rage, and dealing with the fallout of his mental problems because he has a psychological trauma.
Yeah.
He's torn inside his brain, which is incredible, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it.
I mean, but also like kind of cool, but also like not cool, because like you can have conversation with yourself, which you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
But he has a legitimate reason to have conversations with himself.
I mean, he did get stabbed in the brain twice.
Yeah.
That happens. That kind of tears you up a little bit inside.
Literally.
Yeah. But yeah, point being, everything's awesome. I'm excited for next week. That was an awesome episode.
Yes, I agree.
Sorry, I keep hitting my knee on the thing and it's shaking. That's my fault entirely. He hates me for that. It happens.
I do.
And I know. Whatever.
Anyways.
But yeah, I'll see y'all next week. What else do we have to say?
I mean, if there's anything going on. Is there anything?
No.
No?
I do Star Wars stuff. I don't know. My life's boring right now.
New Boy Hero Band video is out. Go check it out. It's a cover of one of, our favorite songs too, of mine and Steve's favorite song. It was a lot of fun. I very much enjoyed doing it. You can check that out at youtube.com.
It's weird. We're buddies, but I kind of fanboy over his band. It's a little weird. It's a good ass band. You'll love it. Have fun. Listen to all the music.
Yeah. But yeah, youtube.com/boyheroband. You can check it out there, and you can also just find it through my Instagram and Twitter, which is @thedanrudd, and yours is
zclap1. But I'm not exciting. You find me.
He will be one day.
Be friends with me.
Get in there first, so you can be that person that was just like, I was following him when he only posted once every 3 weeks.
Yeah, one day, I'm gonna be a famous writer, and we'll see what happens. But y'all are wonderful. Have a great day.
Yes, thank you guys so much for chatting with us. We will be back next week, Tuesday at our usual time.
Tuesday's normal.
Or Wednesday. Who knows? But once again, I'm Dan.
Zach.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Bye bye.